Oh, I like that. Time for Ron and Bo in the showdown. Look, I've got my bat handy, so if things get out of line, I'm going to start whack-a-mole people, right? Yeah, they bring me in for one day. I'm going to try and keep these walls standing straight. So here we go. Let's start the showdown with the big guy, Shohei Ohtani. Rumblings at the winter meetings that he's met with several teams over the past week. The Dodgers, the Blue Jays, teams like that. Why do you think his free agency is going so quietly, though?
Yeah, lots of rumblings, even if some of the teams didn't want any rumblings about meeting with him. Why is it going quietly? Because the player and the agent are running the show, and they've decided, really, that they want it. And I think when you watch the arc of Ohtani's career, he has, for the greatest superstar that we have, one of the quietest superstars that we have. Do you know anything about it? I don't know, like a lot about him, only because he chooses to be that way. And I think that is the player's choice. That being said, as a fan, you'd like to know more on what's going on.
Well, I think if you're the team, at some point, yes, you're going to allow them to lead, but at some point, I think the team has to take over. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because as the team, you don't want to be held hostage. When you look at the free agent market, every team go into this offseason, and yes, you have your wish list of players in which you believe you want to sign. But let's just face it, Shohei Ohtani is only going to sign with one team, which means that there are going to be other teams that's going to be left out of this sweepstake. So at some point, you as the team has to put your best offer on the table to Ohtani and his group and give them a chance to say yes or no, and you have to be willing to walk away and go ahead and pivot if they say no, because at the end of the day, Ohtani know what team he wants to sign with.
Yeah.
His agents know what team that he wants to sign with. So if you get that offer from that team, I don't think they let that team out of the room if you give them a hard deadline. But if you allow them to just play this out as long as they want to, then they're just going to run the string as long as they can.
You know, it's interesting. Listening to you speak there, it's a risky game of chicken if you decide to play that with one of the greatest players to ever wear a uniform. The issue, though, is that he's going into free agency, and he's one of the most unique unicorn kind of players, but that's not the player you're going to get. At least for the first year, right?
Because of the surgery.
Because of the surgery and the arm injury. So you're not going to get that player, which is interesting to me. And also, if you decide to base most of your payroll on Ohtani, it's almost counterintuitive to what he wants. What does he want? He wants to play on a winning team. If you pay one player $50 to $60 million, that's going to be kind of counterintuitive to additions you could make to your ball club to put that team in a winning place in the future. So I don't know. It's just it's an interesting call for a player that we've never seen before.
And that's why it gets difficult even for some teams when you look at the fact that you're going to sign him to a 10 or a 12-year deal, and now you're going to lock down your DH position for that long. So if you're an organization that already have, let's just say, aircraft carriers that at some point in their career, they're going to transition to the DH, you're going to find that those two contracts button heads at some point. So those are things that organizations have to think about as well.
Well, think about this, just in a small little bubble, okay? We consider the Dodgers are one of the teams that certainly Ohtani would like to play for. They had an unbelievable year out of J.D. Martinez as their DH. Would they want him back? Of course they would, but they can't re-sign him or get him back right now because they have to hold open that position of DH in case they're lucky enough to sign him.
We always talk about the domino effect. Do you think it's fair to all those teams that one player kind of holds up all these cards in free agency?
Well, I'm not going to use fair or foul as the terminology. I think at some point, you as an organization have to actually pull that power back. And it's not playing chicken. It's playing hardball and saying, I have to execute a plan. Yes, I would love for you to be a part of my plan. But if you decide that the money that I'm offering is not to your liking, then I need to know the answer to that. And then now I have to give my organization an opportunity to pivot, because if not, let's just say you're the Dodgers and J.D. Martinez go and sign with the Diamondbacks. Yeah. And now he's off the table, and you still don't get Ohtani. It's like you waited, and then people start to leave the market, and now you find yourself with an empty bag.
You know, most of the time when there's a free agent out there, some guys will wait because they want him to set the market. This is not the case with Ohtani. No one else is going to come close to that market, but he will dictate all the other moves that are made after this.
It's like buying a house, right?
Yes.
Like, kind of.
Except when you buy a house, if you get 7 out of 10 things right, it's great.
Yeah.
With Ohtani, you get 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you get the renovated kitchen, all the upgrades with Shohei Ohtani. Another Japanese pitcher, though, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, still on the market right now. Seems like a lot of teams are interested. Jason Stark floated this out there this week. Could Yamamoto cost 10 years, $300 million? What do you think?
Well, I think he can definitely get it, just because when you look at all of the footage that we have, and this is a top of the rotation elite arm. And when you think about the premium of starting pitching in our game, it's right up there in that range where you're going to play anywhere from 27, 28, $30 million a year. So, and he's 25 years old. When you start to look at the length of it, the length is not really going to scare too many teams, because it's premium starting pitching, and he's 25 years old.
Yeah, you make a great point on the youth. The other thing that he has nothing to do with, there's been so much success from the Japanese pitchers that have come over. And last year's Senga's success with the Mets, where he became their best starter, lets all teams know that it translates.
Yes.
These talented young Japanese pitchers, when they come to the major leagues, despite the ball being different, despite having to change maybe how they pitch, how many days rest they have, it translates into success.
Good arms travel. It doesn't matter what league, what city, what uniform. Good pitching travel.
All right, so does $300 million. That travels pretty well anywhere you go across the globe.